Okay, so today we're going to do a really fun thing that is absolutely going to change the way you feel. It'll absolutely change your life, especially if you do this consistently over a few weeks, but do it every single day right before going to bed. Even better if you do it in the morning and at night. I'm telling you, it will change things for you. It's so amazing. It's a visualization. It's really hard to say. It's a visualization, and this very, very simple technique has absolutely changed things for me. And so I'm going to explain a little bit about it, and then I'll tell you whenever we actually start the meditation and visualization. But to give you an idea of how it works, so our bodies don't necessarily know the difference between what's actually happening and what we're imagining is happening, which is why people have like anxiety attacks, because your body thinks it's in danger, even if it isn't, but it's stuck in the brain. That feeling, that alert signal is stuck in the brain and it's looping. So, what we want to do is we want to calm our bodies down, but we also want to use our imagination to let our bodies and our minds know that it's okay, because it really is all about the stories that we tell ourselves. And again, our body and our subconscious doesn't really know the difference between what's actually happening in reality and what isn't happening in reality. So we have to make sure that we're aligning with it and telling it positive things and putting positive things in there for us to feel relaxed, feel calm, and even make the switch to enthusiasm and feeling good and feeling inspired, which is the place we want to get to. So it's really simple. And this exercise has been a technique that a lot of like anxiety researchers use, a lot of psychologists use. Um, I got really into it because I love learning about near death experiences and have had my own experiences, which, if you've watched my TikTok or seen any of my Instagrams, you've probably heard me talk a lot about. Um, and I've heard it said so eloquently. I interviewed Betty Eady one time, and she's the author of Embraced by the Light, which is a book about her near death experience, which was a very, very famous book. It's even Kim Kardashian's like favorite book. Whenever she had a book club, she made it like the first, I think, only book of that book club. But it's called Embraced by the Light by Betty Eady, and I interviewed her one time, and as she was recounting her near death experience, she said something that really stuck out to me because it was something that I took away from my experience as well. And it is, imagination is the key to reality. And that is so true. What we put into our imagination not only affects us and our mind, but it actually affects our reality because it affects the filters that we see reality through. And so when we've gone through a trauma or something, that affects the filters that we're seeing reality through. And by extension, our experience of reality has changed. So if you're going through anxiety based off of trauma, or if you're having trouble adjusting to things, or for whatever reason it is, what happened is your filter has been altered on your reality. And now your body thinks it's under stress. It's the alarm that's going off, thinking that it's always in danger. And we have to let our body and our cells and our subconscious know that it's safe. And there's lots of ways to do that. You can use lots of positive affirmations if that helps. You can do lots of meditation if that helps. You can do lots of mindfulness techniques. But I have found that this one is really the most powerful, because one of the things we want to do is we want to create new neural pathways in our brain. We want to get ourselves to a place where we're not just calming our nervous system down, we're actually flipping the script and using it for us. We're getting control again. We're getting out of that victim mentality, and we're back in control, and we're in a state of pro and positivity and amplitude, and not just safety and security. So it's very simple. It's also one of the reasons why children are so resilient. And there's so much we can learn from kids and their ability to be so resilient. But especially if you are someone who deals with anxiety, or different issues like that, it's really just imagination that has kind of gone haywire. Most people who deal with anxiety are incredibly creative people. They're incredibly sensitive people. They usually have very strong imaginations. And what it is your imagination has just started going in a different direction. So we want to take control over that imagination and just sort of steer the ship back in the direction of creativity, positivity, optimism, enthusiasm, and inspiration instead of fear and anxiety. We got to shift that. We got to toggle the switch over and put ourselves back in control and direct the ship of our lives and our imagination and our brains back into a positive one, creating the new neural pathways. And that can be done through lots of different things. It can be done through the use of, like I said, positive affirmations, through different therapy techniques, through psychedelics, through different medications, through different tapping techniques, whatever resonates most with you. But this one particular exercise is the one that I have found the most positive, fast effects for. And it really goes along the lines of, if you've ever heard of any of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, uh, really anyone in this sort of mind-body psychosomatic field of research or therapy, it all aligns with that. And it's very, very simple. And essentially, here's what it is. So we're going to go ahead and start it now. So if you're coming back to watch this video, this is where you're going to want to start it again. And essentially, we're just going to calm ourselves down a little bit. And again, this is a fun exercise. We're not going back in the past to try to heal anything. We're not trying to dig up any past trauma. This is going to be a fun visualization. This is a good one. This is something that's going to make you feel good. And so really easily, we're just going to take a few deep breaths. Good, and we're going to take another deep breath. Good, and let's just do one more. Just deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay, now I want you to go ahead and close your eyes. Close your eyes and let your breathing return back to normal. Feel your body rise and fall. Come back into your body. Here you are. And now it's time for us to have some fun. So I want you to very simply use your imagination here. We're going to daydream, and we're going to have fun daydreaming. This is a really simple, wonderful exercise because the point of this exercise is to follow the good feeling with your imagination. So the first thing I want you to think about, and this is just generally, I want you to remove all barriers, remove all limitations, remove any ideas of how or why or any details or dramas or expectations, and ask yourself, what would my life look like if I could have it any way that I want? If I could literally craft and create heaven on earth for me, what would I want that to look like? If I could solve all my problems, if I could have everything work out the way that my heart wants it all to work out. And again, allow this part of the imagination to come from your heart. If your heart could have everything it wants, and it could have everything work out the way that it wants things to work out, what would that look like? And you want to go ahead and start with whatever is most pressing on your mind, whatever is most pressing in your reality. Is there a relationship that has been left unreconciled? Is there a physical ailment that you're struggling with? Maybe you have chronic pain. Maybe someone in your family is ill. Maybe you have been ill for a long time. Maybe it's anxiety that's been ruining your life and getting in the way of you following your dreams. Maybe it's an ex that you're not sure about that keeps coming back into your life. Maybe it's your parents that are going through something dramatic or going through a divorce or a split. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The point is, remove all the hows, remove all of the expectations, remove all the stories of how it could happen or if it could happen or this means that or what any of it means. And give yourself permission right here, right now, If your heart could have it all work out perfectly the way your heart wants it to work out, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What does it feel like to make peace with that ex that's been a thorn in your side for so long? What does that look like? What does that feel like receiving that apology? What does that look like having that relationship work out the way you want it to? And how does that feel in your body? Really let your imagination off the leash and let it go there. Let it really flow from the center of your heart to wherever it wants to go, wherever it feels the best to you. That ailment that you've been dealing with, that anxiety, how does it feel to have it completely gone? What does the world look like for you to have it completely gone? What are you going to do with that anxiety completely gone? What are you going to do with that chronic pain completely gone? With that physical ailment completely gone? That friend that you've missed that hasn't been a part of your life in so long, how does it feel to reunite with them? Maybe you're at different points in your life, but your heart really wants to know how they're doing and check in on them. What does that feel like to just call them and just have a wonderful conversation and catch up with them? What does it feel like in your body and in your heart to imagine the relationships in your life looking the way you want them to? What does it feel like to have the people that you care about thriving and you thriving right alongside with them? Feel how good that feels into your body. Allow your mind and your imagination to just run wild. There's no rules here. There's no limitations. There's no boundaries. There's no expectations. Anything can happen right now. Anything can happen in this moment. In this visualization, you're in control. Your heart is in control. And anything can happen. So just let it take you wherever it wants to go. What does that look like? What do your friends look like? How are they doing? The people you care about, how are they thriving? What does it look like? How are they healed? And how are you healed? And how are you interacting with them? How often are you seeing them? Imagine yourself laughing with them and catching up with them and having a good time and traveling with them and spending time together and connecting. Imagine the people that you've hurt or who have hurt you coming and offering you a heartfelt apology. How does that feel? And what do you want to do with that after? Do you want to continue a relationship with them in your heart, or do you want to let it go? Do you want to open up yourself to new relationships, to new friendships? What are you doing with your career? And it's not even important how you're making the money. Just imagine the money coming in. Imagine you doing what's ever most exciting to you. And just imagine all this money is just flowing in and you don't even understand how it's happening, but you're loving every minute of what you're doing. And all this money is flowing into your life and you're loving every bit of it. And it's giving you all the means to be with your friends and to take care of your family and do all these amazing, exciting things. And it just feels so good. Just feel in your body how good it feels. And don't allow any of the hows to come in. Don't worry about how is this going to happen. And don't think oh, this isn't what my life looks like. None of that matters right now. Right now, your heart has control. Your heart has control with no limitations. So follow the good feeling that your heart is emitting. Follow the good feeling of what your heart really wants and just let it run wild and allow that to expand. So start imagining, how do you feel? How are you interacting with the people in your life that you care about who matter to you? What are you doing with your time? How are you spending it? Follow the good feeling. What feels so good to you in your body? And then keep taking the timeline further. What do your friends' relationships look like? What does your family's relationships look like? And don't judge what comes up. Allow your heart to take control. Allow your heart to take over. So, for example, if you're imagining your parents, maybe your parents are going through a difficult separation right now or a difficult divorce, and your heart wants them both to be happy more than it wants both of them to be together. That's when you want to let your heart take control over this and feel it in your heart. Don't control the situation. Don't feel like, oh, I want to control them. I want them to end up together. I want them to reconcile and all that stuff. Let your heart guide you on this imaginative journey. Because maybe the pathway for that is you just want to imagine them both happy. And whatever that looks like, maybe happiness for them looks like separating and finding new lovers that are compatible. But maybe it's also them finding friendship with each other. Maybe it's also your entire family. Maybe it's one of your siblings makes huge success, and maybe your version of the heaven on earth that you're imagining is your sibling making success in a way that they're not actually doing with their life right now, because you know their heart better than they do. Just allow your heart to guide you on this and don't overthink it, because your heart knows the highest path. It's what your soul came here to do. So give yourself the chance to take a back seat to your heart and allow your heart to just fire the timeline of what feels best and follow the good feeling, but make sure you're following the good feeling from your heart space. No rules, no limitations. Anything can happen here. Anything can happen in this visualization space, whatever that looks like. And then allow that to expand even beyond your life, even beyond your family's life and your friends' life and the people that you care about. What does the world look like? What kind of world feels like heaven to you? When I do this exercise, sometimes I imagine a world where grocery stores and brands like that are only allowed to sell pure food. There's no more chemicals, there's no more fillers, there's no more preservatives. We live in a world where it's just all pure, organic, life-giving food, and it feels so good to everybody, and it's nourishing to everyone, and it's wiping away so many health issues for people, and it's giving people the freedom to be happy and follow their passions. Again, we're not focused on what it all means or how it's going to happen. Right now, we're just focused on what feels good. Let your imagination take you where it wants to go with your heart guiding the steering wheel, whatever that looks like. And again, keep expanding it beyond yourself. Expand it into the whole world. What does the planet look like? How are people interacting with each other? What does it feel like to live in a world where people respect each other, where people appreciate each other, where everyone's just full of joy all the time, and there's no more sickness, there's no more anything like that, because we're all taking care of each other and everyone's getting their needs fulfilled, and we're all living from a place of creativity. And just feel what that feels like in your body. The details aren't even important. The important thing here is you feel how good that feels. Feel how good it feels for you to heal completely. Feel how good it feels for your relationships to heal completely. Feel how nourishing it feels for the earth to heal completely, and for all of us to be getting along, and for all of us to be loving each other. Because what that is whatever comes up for you, and those details that come up in your imagination, that is your soul coming through you. That is that deeper soul imagination that's coming to remind you of what your purpose is and what you came here to do. It's putting you back in that flow, and it's switching over those neurons to get you back into a place of hope and enthusiasm and passion and inspiration. So I want you to just keep sitting with the feeling and imagine in as much detail whatever comes up, whatever's coming up, whatever troubles you may be experiencing in your life, whatever challenges you may be experiencing in your life. Imagine them working out perfectly, and imagine your heart guiding the way for them to work out perfectly. And allow yourself to follow that timeline and follow that path, follow that good feeling with your heart, and get rid of any hows, any excuses, any human dramas, any what if. This is your imaginative space where anything goes and anything can happen. So it doesn't matter what happens in the past, it doesn't matter what conflict you may have had with this person or that person. All that matters right now is how would you create this world? What would you want it to look like? And how good does it feel? Let yourself feel good in your body. Feel how good it all feels in your body, and let yourself get really worked up on this. Let yourself just really just feel in every cell of your body how good it feels to be completely healed, how good it feels to have all of those relationships get along, how good it feels to just have everyone in your life that you love and care about happy and thriving, and how good it feels to know that you're thriving right there with them, that you're all just thriving together. Everyone's doing great, everyone is healthy, everyone's making money, everyone is following their passions, everyone is respecting each other because everyone's happy, and everyone feels purposeful and guided, and everyone's just getting along. And just feel how good that feels. Again, don't let your mind come in and bring you all the what ifs and buts and excuses here and there. Just let all that go. None of that matters right now. You're just gonna feel how good that vision feels. And hold that feeling of goodness as long as you can. Feel it in your body, feel it in your mind, feel it in your heart, because you're letting your heart take over with this. These are your heart's desires, not your mind's desires. These aren't just desires designed to keep you safe. These are your heart's desires with no limitations, with no expectations, and with no boundaries. These are your heart's desires and your soul's desires in a world where anything can happen. This is what your soul really, truly wants. So feel it in your body as if it has already happened. Neville Goddard always says you want to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and all of your wishes will come true. That's what we're doing here. You want to allow yourself to daydream just like a child. Just daydream without any sense of jaded experience or anything like that. We're reverting back to a child's imagination where anything can happen and anything goes, and we're letting our hearts guide us to the feeling that feels best. And it's going to be the highest for everyone because we are wishing happiness on everyone because we're following our own happiness in our own heart. And that's the highest fulfillment for all of us. That's what our souls want for all of us. So feel how good that feels in your body. Feel how good that feels in your body, and hold it as long as you can. Hold it, hold it, hold it, and allow yourself to be energized by it. Because what this is it's not just imagination and it's not just daydream. This is an act of self love. You are giving your body and your mind and your soul the attention that it craves, and you're allowing your heart to take over. You're giving yourself energy when you do this, and you're giving yourself heart energy, which is divine energy, which is soul energy. So let it fill yourself up. It is healing energy. This is an act of self-love, this exercise. This is something that will lead to your healing if you hold it long enough. Because like I said before, and like Betty Eadie says, imagination is the key to reality. It truly is. And you want to feel this in your body. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And again, what this exercise is going to do, you want to do this every morning if you can, but especially every night before you go to bed. Give yourself that commitment to do this 20 minutes, 30 minutes just before going to bed. Do it for a few weeks, at least 21 days. Better if you could do it for 30 days or 60 days and keep it going. And it's okay if this changes each time. Or if you want, you can do this visualization out loud and record yourself, and you can listen to the recording at night before you go to bed. So you can get that coming through. You can recreate that feeling in your body each time. If you don't want to start from scratch each time, listen to the recording to get it flowing again and remember how good it feels. Because again, your subconscious can't tell the difference between what's really happening and what you're feeding it with your imagination. You're going to feel it in your body. So if you convince yourself through your imagination that you're healed, your body will start matching that. Because spirit declares and reality obeys. What happens first in the spiritual realm manifests in the physical realm. So you're actually being a co-creator with life when you do this. The important thing is we get in our way all the time, and we want to step out of the way. We want to give ourselves permission to imagine through the lens of anything is possible. Too many times we get the dramas and we get the specifics caught up. That's not really up to us to figure out. Our job is to imagine the highest possible scenario for ourselves and everyone involved, the highest, most loving scenario for everyone involved, and to feel it as if it's real, as if it's happened, and then to just let it go and to keep holding that energy signature and keep holding that vibration and keep bringing ourselves back to it. And eventually our reality will actually shift for the highest good of everyone involved. And what's happening here on a biological level and psychological level as well is this is creating new neural pathways in your brain. It is retraining your brain to look for these kind of experiences in your reality. It's retraining your brain's neuropathways to re-experience hope, to feel enthusiasm again, to feel excitement again, to feel possibility again and potential again, and to move out of that fight or flight into a state of inspiration. And when you can move into a place of inspiration, anything really is possible, because anything good, anything beautiful, anything loving that exists in our reality came from a place of inspiration. Inspiration is coming directly from spirit, it's in spirit, and it's coming directly from God. And by definition, that means that it's for the highest good. So you want to keep shifting yourself back into that space. And this very simple, and it sounds simple because it is simple, because it's meant to be simple. Life's not meant to be that difficult. It's not meant to be that hard. We're the ones who create the boundaries and get ourselves in the way. So I want you to do this exercise at least once a day right before going to bed. Give yourself 20, 30 minutes. Even better if you can do it at night or in the morning. I also highly recommend, if you find yourself at night feeling really tired and it's difficult for you to get back into that headspace and charge yourself up again, do it once and record yourself narrating what you're imagining out loud. And then whenever you go to bed the next day, just listen to it, because then you'll be remembering how good that felt from the night before, and then you'll start building that kind of momentum, and that's going to help also create those neural pathways and fire. And it's okay, again, if this imagination thing shifts. But what you want to do is you want to keep retraining your brain to look for optimism and possibility and hope, and that's what this is going to do. So continue to do this, like I said, once a night. Do it for 21 days at least, but honestly, you're going to feel different the very first time after you do this. You're kind of going to feel a little buzzy for a few hours, especially if you do this in the middle of the day or early in the day. You're going to have a pretty good morning if you can really feel this the way that you're capable of. at least that morning, if not the whole day, you're just going to have a sense of optimism that you might not have felt in a long time, because your body's going to start to feel safe, because it's like, well, his imagination is telling us that we're safe. Because again, anxiety is just misguided imagination. It's just your imagination thinking it's in danger. So we're just taking the reins of our imagination, is all that is. We're retraining our imagination to look for the good. And that's what's going to get us over the hump and get us into that place of, now we naturally look for the glass being half full. And our biological structure is actually changing. Our DNA is changing. Our brain is changing. Neuroplasticity is taking place. And we are healing on a very cellular and emotional level. And this is what all kinds of therapy is. If you've ever done trauma therapy, EMDR therapy, it's all about reframing. It all is taking place in your mind. It is. And so this is helping us do that in a much more simpler, natural way. This is actually how we're designed. This is actually a very simple thing that we should be doing every day. And this is how we create a better future for ourselves and everyone else. So do this exercise as often as possible. Hold it as long as you can. And another thing you'll notice when you do this exercise is you'll first off learn a lot about yourself. You'll learn a lot about what you really want, because you're going to start allowing your heart to guide you with your imagination. And you're going to learn that you can trust your heart to guide you throughout your life, because you might not be able to see where your heart is guiding you throughout life, because you're putting those hows and what ifs and excuses and those details, they're blocking you. So if you can create the space in your imagination where those blocks are gone and allow your heart to take over, you're going to start restoring faith in your heart, and you're going to start syncing up your mind and your brain. And that's what really happens with trauma with people, is your brain, your mind, your heart, your gut, they all get misaligned. And what we want to do is we want to bring those back into coherence. You've probably heard Joe Dispenza talk about brain heart coherence. This is one way to do that. It's using your imagination with your heart at the steering wheel until both of those sync back up. And so when you go about your day, you'll start to feel that you'll retrain yourself to first off listen to your heart again and feel how good it feels to have your heart controlling things. And then you're also going to be able to rebuild the trust into surrendering to that and know that, well, this is what's best for me. This is what's best for all involved, because I'm listening to my heart now, and there's a bigger picture here that maybe I can't see, but I can trust. And it's also going to make your body feel safer. You're going to start noticing your relationships start to change. And the other thing I would do too, so for example, if you do this imagination and visualization exercise, and perhaps you imagined yourself reconciling with an old friend, if there are steps you can take that still feel in alignment with your heart, because again, this exercise is going to get you back in tune with how it feels to have your heart run the show. If there are steps that you can take, and that vibration and action of taking those steps matches the vibration and action that you felt in your imagination of feeling good, then take those steps. So if you imagine yourself reuniting with an old friend you haven't talked to in a long time, and then when you come out of this visualization and you're going about your day the next day and you think, oh, I should text my friend and see how they're doing, and that feeling feels as good and enthusiastic and bright and open and light as it did when you were doing this visualization the night before, that's a sign that you should take that you can trust that and you can go with it. And what you'll notice is that as you go about your day and you start reframing and rebuilding trust with your heart, you'll know that you can trust it moving forward. And then you'll start to see all these synchronicities start to happen, and your whole reality will really shift and change, because you're moving back into a heart-centered space. And because you used your imagination, your brain is now on board. And now they're both working together again. And that's what we really want, is to bring both of those back into alignment, and everything else will just flow naturally. So I know this sounds like a very simple exercise. It is a very simple exercise. And if you do it consistently, you will be amazed at how your life changes, how your body changes, how your relationships change. You just have to give yourself permission to believe that anything is possible. And that's difficult to do when you've gone through trauma, or you've been through difficult times, or if you're paying attention to what's going on in the outside world. So create this sacred space with yourself for 20, 30 minutes a day where none of that matters, where you get to go back into your world, into your imagination, where anything can happen and your heart can run the show. And then just watch what happens. But first thing you're going to notice is it's going to literally start to heal your brain. and you're going to experience that neuroplasticity, and then your cells are going to follow suit, and then your immediate reality is also going to change over time. So do that consistently. I promise you, it is so powerful. It is so powerful. It is so simple. And this is a fun one. This is a fun exercise. It's not about going back into your past and trying to heal the past trauma or revisit those old scenarios or anything like that. This is about letting your heart guide the way and literally following the good feeling with your heart at the steering wheel. That's all this is. So this should be a fun exercise. At some point, you'll start to look forward to it because you're going to feel so good after it. Just keep doing this all the time because it's supposed to be good. Life is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to feel good. Healing is supposed to be fun. Healing is supposed to feel good. It's not always about revisiting the trauma and doing all the hard work and stuff. It's supposed to be light and fun and easy and beautiful. We're given all these amazing tools, and we don't have to work so hard to heal, actually. Sometimes healing is just playing with our imagination and allowing our hearts to guide the way. So definitely try this. Let me know how it works for you guys. If anything, it's going to make you feel amazing, but I do this all the time and it has really changed my life. And so I highly recommend it for you guys. And yeah, as always, I am sending you guys love and I wish you all the best. And yeah, let me know how it works for you.